Hello and welcome to the free 7 rules email course. Today is Rule 1. Now Rule 1 is learn English phrases, not individual words. This one, just like all the other rules, is very simple, very easy, and like the other rules, this rule is very powerful, so simple, so powerful. What is the rule? The rule is always learn phrases, not individual words. So simple. So a phrase in a group of words. If not, you can have a whole sentences. But just if event a part of a sentences. So for example, let's say you have the word hate, H-A-T-I, hate, and you want to learn this new word. You can, just write down the word hate, and then you will write in your dictionary the meaning, and then you will memorize it. Hate. That's the old way. That's a kind of textbook way. The school way, right? In school, you probably remember a lot of individual words. You have the big vocabulary list. You try to memorize all of them, trying to remember all these individual single words. It's not a good way to learn. Much better if you learn a phrase, a group of words. And where do you find this phrase? You find this phrase in the Real English podcast that you are listening to, in the Real English story books that you are reading. So, you don't memorize a list in a book. No. You listen to Real English, and when you hear a new word, you write it down. Or when you are reading a story book and you see a new word, you write it down. But do not just write down that word. You want to write down the whole phrase or sentences that is in all of it. So instead of saying hate, and you just write out hate, you could write out don't hate ice cream. You write down the whole phrase. Why do we do this? What's the power of phrase? Well, phrase gives you a lot of information, much more information. Number 1. Phrases are easier to remember because they have meaning. They have kind of a picture, a story, especially when you get them from something that you are reading or listening to. You will remember it. Don't hate ice cream. You remember the whole story. You remember who Don is. You remember that he hated ice cream. And then you remember he hated it. He didn't like it, right? So you have all this extra piece of information. All this extra information help you remember the meaning of the phrase and the meaning of that word. So it helps you memory. Much easier to remember. Number 2, there are bonus. When you learn phrases, you are learning grammar also. You are not only learning an individual word. You are learning grammar. You are learning how to use that word correctly. You don't need to think about the grammar. You don't need to know the rules. It's automatic. This is another way that native speakers learn English grammar, because when you are children, you learn with phrases. We learn groups of words, not just one word by one word. Word by word is slow and it doesn't help, and you don't learn any grammar. But when you learn a whole phrase, you write down a phrase. You're getting extra information. Maybe you don't know it, but you are. For example, don't hate ice cream. Just that or that's. On the end, hate, right? Don't hate. Well, you know from grammar study that you are making the subject and the verb agree. You don't need to think about that. Just write out the phrase don't hate ice cream and study it and review it. Always learn the phrase, not just that or that word. So In the future, whenever you say he hates ice cream, she hates ice cream, you will add that s, the s, right? Because that's how to learn it. You learn it correctly. You learn it from a phrase. On the other hand, if you learn it from the textbook, you thus learn the word hate means they not light. And you only learn that from hate. And you study, you memorize it. That's when you start making mistakes. Because you learn it only this one way. You didn't learn it with other words. So, sometimes you will say he has ice cream. You will forget it because you never learn it correctly in a sentence, in a phrase. So, this is very simple rule. Our last rule in a course. Very, very important. Every time you find a new word, always write the phrase or sentences when you review that word again. When you study it again, always start an entire phrase or sentences. Never study just the word, always the whole phrase. Do this every time. Your grammar will begin to improve. It will improve much faster. You will remember the vocabulary faster and more easily. And you will use that vocabulary more quickly. So you get a lot of great benefits. A lot of great stuff happens when you learn phrases instead of words. So phrase, learn them. Okay, I hope you enjoy the rule number 1. Use this rule. Now, the homework is to get a little phrase notebook. So when you find new words, vocabulary in a lesson, in something you are listening to in a book, in an article, write down the phrase, not just one word. Write down the entire whole phrase that you find, and then you review that phrase again and again each day. And you will create a notebook full of phrases, full of sentences, not individual words, never an individual words. Okay, so that's rule 1. Today you will get another email with rules number 2. So I will see you tomorrow. Bye bye.